Today I figured I'd show you my personal method of programming drums. I tend to favor a drag and drop style, but I also love having the flexibility to play the pads and just get out what's in my head as quickly as possible. The quicker you can get ideas out, the better results you're gonna have. So yeah, here's the best way of creating drums. And by best, I mean my way. Okay, so I have my drum template broken down into 3 categories. I have the playable kit, which is the drum machine designer. I have 4 pads just that are blank, ready to go. So I can drag from my library. Then you can use your pads and you can play it. It's sweet, very intuitive. Drum machine designer, I think, rules. But that being said, I have a folder that I labeled drag and drop drums. The cool thing that I have is every one of these I have bussed out to their own bus. What's really sweet is I can just, drag kicks into the kick channel. I can just duplicate that track and I could put kick layer, can do another kick underneath. And now those 2 sounds are summed into my kick bus. And I can adjust the gain and layer them to taste. It's actually a pretty sick kick. I do that with snares. I can make as many snares as I want. So I can just control the volume of all the snares with just one fader, can put an effect on it that affects all the snares, and it's just very intuitive. That's just kind of my quick rundown of my template. It's probably better if I just make a beat, show you how that works. So let's do that. It started raining out today. It's putting me in a really mellow vibe, so let's find out a tempo that we're feeling. Yeah, that's the tempo, 74. We're going with 74. Just scroll through some sounds. Oh yeah, nice and soft. So I'm gonna make, just a 4-bar loop. So instead of dragging the kick onto each one, you can just highlight with the marquee tool, which is located up here. You can select the portion that you want repeated and then hit Command R, and then it just repeats it. So yeah, I'll do that 4 times. For kicks, I always do a ghost kick. Put the volume a bit lower. I'm gonna figure a snare that kind of goes in there, and then I can just get the kick and the snare playing off of each other. Oh, this one's nice. Has a tambourine layer. So yeah, gonna do the same thing. Yeah, let's just kind of build up the kick and the snare, and then we can add different percussion on top of that. So after I have kick and snare laid down, I like to, get some hi-hats. It's more of a shaker than a hat, but let's drag it in. Let's just make a simple 8th note hi-hat pattern. I like to make a little bit of swing. Over here, you can go to delay, move that around, see what sounds good. Offset it to taste. If you can't stand that it doesn't play where it actually looks like the sample is, you can always just bounce the section by highlighting it and doing Command J. Creates, and now you can actually see the swing that I added. Yeah, that's sick. And now that's 1 bar. Just duplicate that by selecting it, Command R. Yeah, now we got the little shaker hat going on. Click it all, Command J to join. Let's get a cymbal in there as well. Yeah, something very subtle. That's a really long crash. Let's do it just 1 bar. You can always fade it as well. So on the main drum bus, to get some vibe, I always use some saturation. Decapitator is great for this. Just kind of glues things a lot more. Cool, let's do that. Another hidden thing in Logic is the fat effects. Honestly, I feel like no one talks about this, and the fat effects is great. I always use the bandpass a lot. The distortion section is great. And if you don't have Decapitator, Honestly, the soft saturation and the vari-drive are awesome on this as well. You can get so dirty. I always like my drums not super bright either, so sometimes I would just bandpass. And now I know the kick's like a bit too hot. Cool, I like that. Let's get some shakers maybe. I have my drum machine designer here. I can just drag in different samples that I want. Let's just drag all these in for the sake of it. Played this in. If you do Control B, you can bounce the region in place. Gonna name it Shaker Top. Sure. I'm gonna actually just make it another hat layer and call this Shaker. And then I can drag it up here. I like to throw sometimes tremolo on it, kind of pumps it in and out. I think I'm going to just layer the snare too, because I want a bit more variation in that. So I'll duplicate the snare, call it snare layer. And then I kind of have it panned right a little bit, so just add some stereo width on the snare as well. And I'm going to just duplicate that so it just goes on just the first snares of every beat. And then it just gives some variation. And a lot of times I like to do kind of like a reverse thing as well. Make it a little more subtle though. Let's add a couple more percussion elements and then we can start putting effects and mix it and see what it's like in context. Let's open this back up. Duplicate this. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So I can send this whole drum bus now to some reverb. Obviously that's overkill. The reason why I like to send the drums to a reverb versus just putting it on the drum bus itself is I can EQ the low end before it, because sometimes there's just way too much buildup in the low end. Now we can just tuck it in. I'm going to record a quick 2-chord vamp on the keys and some bass just to give this drum beat some context, because yeah, music's not in isolation and it shows you kind of how drums actually fit in the real world. The real world of music. So dumb. So yeah, recorded a 2-bar vamp. I also added some vinyl texture as well. I got some chords and some atmosphere, a quick bass line as well. I'm gonna play you out, showcase the drum beat that I made for you. I hope this inspires you to find new ways to create drums. I think the main thing I'm trying to get across is everyone needs to come up with their own method. Find what works for you, what makes you excited, and perfect it. Here we go. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.